So the recording has started. So thank you very much for coming to the class. And this is week 8 of Python software now, which is HIT137. And before I start on the class, a couple of reminders that you have your second assignment due by 10th of this month. So please make sure that you submit your assignment, and we are expecting only one single Py file, right? So please don't submit 4 Py files, then we'll deduct mark for that type of things. So you should follow the submission format, whatever you have expected, whatever we are asking from you. So follow the submission format, and then only one from your group member should be submitting, okay? And please don't forget to put your name and everything on the top of that Py file, okay? So your group name, group number, and all the student ID and name as well. And that will be good for us to go ahead, okay? So that is the first thing, that your assignment is due by 10th of this month, and we're expecting to give your assignment with 2 weeks time. So hopefully by week 10, you'll be able to get your mark. That is the second assignment. And also your third assignment is also up, okay? So you should start thinking about third assignment. So hopefully I'll discuss that more in detail in next week, so that I don't want you to get confused with your second and third as well. But keeping in mind, I always maintain timely submission, timely deadline as well. So your second, third assignment is also now up on LearnLine. Have a look into the assignment, but as you can see, one of them is actually building your own software application, and the other one is actually working with building a clock with your Turtle. So what is so new about, there's nothing complicated about that, so we'll work on it. And which means that I'm also expecting you guys to start thinking about participating in the IT Code Fair as well. So our registration hopefully will open next week, okay? And once it opens, then you can start working on and you should participate in the IT Code Fair as well. Okay, so far we have completed till week 7. Last week we worked with object-oriented programming concept, building classes and how to use that class to build objects as well. Now, this week we'll start with Kinter. Now, it's a very good application for building interfaces. Okay, so what we have done, we have created a materials based on the Kinter. So my aim will be to teach you those codes in detail so that you can understand. And we also have given one of our tutors, like Bawan Shen, he made a small application for all of you. It is called a wish list. So I have given an application, the source code for that one as well, and also short videos. So if you just go to your tutorials or additional materials, you'll find those things as well, okay? So as this is a very important class for all of us, because if you're building an application, so that means I'm expecting that you'll be building an interface as well. So interface can be built with Kinter as well, okay? So please concentrate. They're very easy to be used, and you'll find ample resources online as well. So you can use those things to build your own application as well. Okay, let's start with the first, and there's no slide because because these are programs, so I thought I'll write the whole code in a PDF format, show the output, and we'll go from there and make you understand what each and every individual line means, and then we'll go from there. Let's start with the first one. So the module that you're working today is actually called Kinter. Let me download this thing. I think I have to download that. It's already downloaded because I can't put my pen, so I have to open it in, I think, Microsoft Edge. Open with Microsoft Edge. Right. So that's good. Bhavan, here, please see that whether online students can see it properly or not. So let's start the code. So now I can use my pen to make you understand. So the module that we're using for this particular class is called Kinter. It's a module that is used for building interfaces, okay? Like a sort of application interface that will help the user to play with the interface and give input and play and then do the task that is required to. So what I have done, I have used a from, so you know that, and I'm going to use Kinter and import asterisk. That means I'm going to import all the methods that are defined under the Kinter packages. That's it. Now, you know that, first of all, we need to create a blank window. So this is actually sort of a blank window. and this is the first window of my interface. So that is what is called a root window. So simple convention is called root actually. So I've created a window called root by the name root, and it is actually the equation is the function is like tk. So tk actually with no input argument, it actually allows us to create a window, and the window name is it's called a Kinter window, and the window name is root. And how you'll understand this with Kinter, they have got their own specific logo over here, which is tk with a feather sign. So that actually tells us it's actually Kinter window. So once I've created a window, so this is actually a simple window I've created, then what I have done, the first thing that I have done, I have created a label in the window. So I'd like to create some label. So label means that I'm going to put some messages in that label. So what I have done, I have created a label. So the function that I use called label, where I'm going to put the label in my root window. So what will be the label content? It will be a text. And what will be the text? Our first graphical interface, then new line developed by Kinter. So this is actually the text that I'm going to put in that label, and the label should be put in the root window. That's it. So this is actually a simple code. I'm creating a label. So there is all the label name. So I'm creating a label, the label, and the label actually allows us to create a label in which on the root window, what I'm going to put that label, I'm going to put a text on that label, and the text is our first graphical interface, new line developed by Kinter. That's done. Once I have created the label, then what I'll do, I need to pack it. So what actually pack means? Pack means that it actually allows the label to be incorporated into the window itself. So I have just defined a label, and now I'm putting that label on the window. So this is actually called packing. So it automatically what it will do, it will place the widgets onto the window. And then I said root.main loop. This particular function actually it is running the loop for an infinite, until and unless you don't close it. With the close button, it will be there as you. So this is a very simple thing. From this program, what I understood, we have created a Kinter window. We have created a root window of that Kinter. Then we have put a label, and the label actually has got a message, which is our first GUI developed by Kinter. And then this label has been packed. So pack means actually I'm placing that wizard in that root window, and then I use root.main loop, and that means it is running. So very simple, one simple interfaces with a message is done, can be done with a couple of lines only. Okay? Understood, guys? Clear? This side? How about you guys? This side? Good. Very good. So once I've understood that, let's continue further. So this is a very simple, creating a root window and then putting a label. So let's continue further a bit more. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to place some buttons. So because in a window, you can see you can have a buttons, you can have a checkbox, you can have menu, file menus, okay, sub menus, a lot of things that you can have in a window, right? We know that type of thing. So when you build an interface, when you build an application, you have calculators, you have buttons, you have username, login, and details as well. You have a checkbox, number of things that is there. So let's go one at a time. So now let's start putting some buttons in the window. Now the good thing is that once you know all those things, you can easily use all those things to create your own nice one interface for your application that you can do easily. Again, I have used Kinter. Again, I import all the packages on the Kinter. I have created a root window, again, which is of Kinter type. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this window into two frames. One is called top frame and another one is called bottom frame. So what I have said, top frame, create a frame in the root window. Okay, so I've created a frame. Then I said the top frame dot pack. So I'm going to pack it because once I've created the widget, I have to pack that one. So keeping in mind, whenever we design, whenever we define a label, whenever we define a frame, once we have defined that, we have to pack it as well. So that packing means I'm just pressing that widget on the root window itself. So this particular top frame is going to pack it. So that means I've created a window, I've created a root window, and my first top frame has already been packed onto the root window. Done. Then I'm going to create a bottom frame as well. Again, where I'm going to put it, I'm going to create a frame to the root window. Okay. Then I'm going to pack it again. Now this time when I'm going to pack it, I'm going to say side equals to bottom. Otherwise, what will happen? It will override the top frame. So I'm saying side equals to bottom means that it is taking the bottom one. So that means this is my top frame. This is my bottom frame. So I got both the frame. So I have created a window with two frames. One is top frame and the other one is bottom frame. I've created the frames. Now I'm going to put some buttons in that frame. So button one, so the function that I use called button, okay, putting it in the top frame, text is button one. What is FG? What is FG? What is FG? I know FG is something, it's a word. I mean, you should know it. What is FG? What is BG? What is FG? Right, foreground. Simple. I mean, further, you don't need to, there's no rocket science behind it. Okay? If BG is background, FG is foreground. Okay? So I'm saying foreground is what? Red. Okay, so that means I have created one button, which is in the top frame, and then the text is button one and the foreground is red. Second one, second button, again in the top frame, text is button T, foreground is blue. Third one, button 3, in the top frame, text is button 3, foreground is green. Done. Then, so that means I got 3 buttons in the top frame. Clear? And automatically, what is happening? They are just putting side after side. So it is actually after. So it's happening after one another. Then I'm creating a button 4. Okay, same button, bottom frame. So it will be in the bottom frame, no, not in the top frame anymore. It's the bottom frame. Text is also button 4, foreground is purple. Now, once I've created those buttons, again, as I told you, these are all defined. Now I have to pack it. So whatever you define, you have to pack that. So what I have done, button 1 dot pack, side goes to left. Button 2 dot pack, side goes to left. Button 3 dot pack, side goes to left. So everything has been on the left center, on the left actually. So left, 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 it isn't going in that way. In that way, I placed all the button, I packed all the button in the top frame as left button 1, left button 2, and left button 3 with different color as foreground, okay, which is red, blue, and green. Now, I'm going to say button 4 dot pack, so I have to pack that one as well, side equals to bottom. Now, automatically you can see the Python what it does to look it nice, it has put it in the center. So, because you have only one button in the bottom frame, so it has put in the center of the particular frame itself, just to look nice. But you can, if you say side equals to left, then it will go to the left side. Side equals to right, it will go to the right. But by default, it is in the center. Clear? So I have placed all the buttons, and I said root.main loop. So this particular command, what it is doing? It is now helping me to create a window, helping me to divide the window into 2 frames. And in the first frame, I am putting 3 buttons. In the bottom frame, I'm putting 1 button. And then I have packed them with different color as well. And these are buttons placed in my window. So I know how to place a button. I know how to place a frame in the window. Even I know how to place a simple, what is that called? A simple label in the window as well with some text. Okay, so we're getting slowly clear. Understood this bit? Clear, guys? How about you guys? Clear? How about you guys? Yes, sir. Nice. So let's continue further, and we'll see. We understood just a simple button now, right? Now what I'll do, I'll also, you know that when actually we create any sort of interfaces, it should be what is called. It should be size friendly. Size friendly means that if the window is small, the whole scaling will go small. If the window gets bigger, the whole scaling goes bigger. So it will support multiple display. Yes or no? So when you develop an application, that application should be displayed properly in your mobile phone, in your laptop, in your big screen, in your desktop as well, right? So that means we need to understand the scaling of this particular thing. We cannot make it fixed and rigid. Otherwise, what will happen in the mobile phone, it will look like full, but in the big screen, it will look like something like that because they are pretty much confined to one size. In order to solve that thing, what we have done, we have using some label sizing, resizing. What I have done, again from Kinter, import all the packages. Root is the root window, which is TK. First one equals to label. I am putting root. In the root, the label will be put in the root itself. The text will be 1. Background is red. Foreground is white. That's it. So I created one label. I didn't pack it yet. Then I said 1 dot pack. So it's been packed over here. So 1 is actually over here, packed. Now by default it is in the center because it will see once you've put everything. By default it is, because I didn't say side equals to left or side equals to right. So by default it is in the center. Then the second one, 2, which is 2 equals to, again I'm putting a level root. In the root itself, text is 2, background is green, which is green, foreground is black actually. This is the one. Now, initially it was something like this, but if you see what they have done in the next line, I have tagged it onto the root, but I am saying fill equals to x. That means my x coordinate should be filled. So the whole thing will be filled with the frame itself. So that means my background will be green, and then my foreground with the text will be 2, because 2 is actually one word that should be placed in the center. That's fine. And after that, what I have done, I have just put that thing into the fill equals to x. So I have put the whole thing into the x. So the whole horizontal is actually filled with green background. Then the last one, which is called 3. 3 goes to label. Again, I have put the label in the root. I'm going to put the root in the root. Text equals to 3. Background goes to blue. Foreground goes to white. Now, again, over here, what I have done, I have said this time I'm going to pack it, but it should be not in the center, but should be in the left. So side equals to left, and fill equals to white. So that means this fill, right? So why I'm doing that thing? Then after the do.main loop. So why I'm doing that thing? This fill operation, what it does, when you make it close, or when you make it small, or when it big, automatically these horizontal and the vertical also gets resized with the window size. For the top one, it is always constant because it is at the center. They don't have any fill, but it will be always constant at the center, whatever window size is. But these two will change according to the window size and shape as well. So in that way, what I can do, I can resize that thing. So when I'm going to create an interface, I need to use fill as well, so that actually that helps me to resize the window according to my size that I'm looking for. Okay, so simple. So what we have done, we have just created 3 labels over here, put them on the root, and then after that I have filled them for X and Y, put some background, foreground color, and that's all done and dusted. Let's continue further. So I have done some resizing as well. Now let's continue further. Now I'm going to use something called entry. So ultimately my plan is that to input some data and put the data into the database as well, right? So I'm going to build an interface that will allow me to have the user input, and then after that save that data. So over here it is actually called user input only, okay, with some checkbox as well. You can see there is a nice checkbox. Okay, now we are getting close. Once you finish this class, you'll be able to position that you can create at least one interface with all the things that you require. In the corner, in the middle, everywhere can be done. So one interface will be done, and each and every individual thing will have some operations, which I'll show you at the bottom. But let's start creating the building blocks. After once you create the building blocks, then we will start adding operation to those blocks as well. For each and every individual click, we'll have different operations as well. Okay. What I have done, I have used Kinter, again, import, root, the same thing. Label 1 equals to label, and put in the root, text equals to name. So this is name. Label 2 equals to label, again, put in the root, text equals to password. So this is one label, this is another label. Okay. Then I also put entry. Why this entry? Because entries allow you to enter the data. So that's why it's entry. Entry 1, I put one entry of the root. Entry 2, I put another entry. So this is the first entry, this is the second entry. So I've done that thing. I haven't packed it yet. I'm just defining all those labels and entries. Then what I'm doing, I am going to create a grid. Grid in a sense that, for example, if this is my 1, so this is the first grid, this is the second grid. In that way, the first grid will be my label, which is name, and the second grid will be my entry. Name, that is my Sami. So that's my entry. What I have done, I have said label1.grid. So this is actually grid is a method that is used on that object called label1. Row equals to 0. So this is the first row, right? You know, this is first row, this is the second row. So which is row equals to 0, row equals to 1. This is column 0, column 1. You know that thing, right? So if I draw two matrix, so this is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, right? So this is row and this is column. So this is first 0 row, this is row 0, this is row 1, this is column 0, this is column 1. So when I'm saying row equals to 0, that means I'm talking about the first row, which is 0, and I'm saying stick equals to E. What actually E means, I'm going to stick that particular label on the east side. So if you know the map location, north, south, east, and west. So it is towards the east. So it is on the right centered. Yes or no? So in what actually what it says, right centered, left centered, middle. So this is actually right centered. So I have put a grid, and then I put that thing as a row 0 stick equals to A. Then similarly, label 2, another grid, but this time row will be 1. So this is the next row. So this is the first row, this is the next row. Row equals to 1, stick equals to A, stick equals to E. So label 2 is actually what for me? Password. So this is a password. So I put name in my first row, password in my second row. Everything is in the right center or towards the east. Done. So this is my, because I've got, as you can see, I have divided the thing into 2 grids. The first one is actually label grid, and the second one is actually entry grid, right? So first one actually is label. I'm just putting the label in the first grid. And in the first grid actually is my row is 0, okay? And I'm putting it in the east side. Now let's go to the entry grid. So what I've done, same thing, entry 1 dot grid. Again, row equals to 0, but this time column will be 1 because this is 0, this is column 1. So that is the first, second column, but it's 1 actually. So row equals to column 1, so it is actually entry. So there is no data. I just put it for just to show you Sami, but there's no data, so this is created entry. Then similarly, entry 2 dot grid, which is actually second row, row equals to 1, column equals to 1. So this is the entry for this one. So if I see this from here, what I understood, I got 4 grid. First grid is label, second grid is entry. First grid is a name, like name. Second grid is actually your name, and second grid is actually password, and it is also entry is another password. So in this way, I have created 4 2x2 matrix. The first one is first grid is actually a label, second grid is an entry, first grid is a label, second grid is an entry based on row number and column number. Row 0, column 0, row 1, column 1. In that way, we have taken all the position. Once we have done this, so these are actually, this allows me to create a label and an entry. So you can create multiple labels and multiple entry in that way, just knowing the position number. And you can do it in, so I have done 2, but what you can do, you can create a whole label and you can have multiple grids if you want to. Name, age, location, everything you can put side by side if you want to. Very simple, if you know how to play with row and column. That's it. The last one is called check button. So this is actually a check button that I can see. So I'm saying, can I put a check button where to the root, the text will be keep me logged in. So if I check this thing, it will keep me logged in to the system. Then I'm saying I'm going to use it as a grid as well, but this time because they are grid, right? So grid means that, you cannot say which one is center over here because there are 2 grids over here, right? So if I want to put this in the second row, the first row at the middle of the grid, so taking half of the first grid, second of the half of the second grid, what I am seeing, C.grid column span equals to 2. So my whole column was 2, and I'm going to put in such a way so that it is in the center, and it will take the span of both the column. So half from the first column and half from the second column. In that way, it is centered. And then root.main loop. So it will allow me to create that root, and it will allow me to build this whole system. So just to summarize that thing, so from here I can see I have created 1 label and 1 entry, another label and another entry, name on row 0, column 0 with stick equals to E, entry on row 0, column 1, name on row 0, column 1, and now row 1, column 0, and then row 1, column 1 is the entry. And then I have created a check button, which is a column span of 2, and I have put a text on that one. It's called keep me logged in. And this is actually one way of getting an entry from the user. Understood, guys? This side clear? How about you guys? Clear? How about you guys? Clear? Let me see online students. I don't know. What is my online students? Online students, have you understood what I have said so far? Let me see. Clear? Very good. So that means I'm still with you guys. Fantastic. Till this is week 8. Another 3 weeks. That's it. My job is done. I have to be with you for another 3 days. 3 weeks. Okay. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let me stop this recording and then have another recording.